What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Latrina, and I am back again today with another tarot spread read. Starting right off in the first row, we get the gift card. And we get the trapped in fear, also coming out in that first row. And this trapped in fear in the traditional tarot, it does usually represent the Eight of Swords. Someone may be trapped in fear about a gift. And this is the highlight of today's read. And then we get the Page of Pentacles coming out, also in that first row, with the mature woman. And that Page of Pentacles, whenever it comes out in the traditional tarot, it does depict an image of an individual seeking a fortune, completely engulfed by a coin and taken back by this coin. He's amazed and he's actually captivated. This coin has gotten him captivated when it comes out in the traditional tarot. But in this particular deck, it says this is the home of ideas. This Page of Pentacles is where the ideas are birthed in this particular deck that I'm using here. The home of ideas is what he's representing, this Page of Pentacles. And it looks like this mature woman has probably gotten herself in a predicament that she's trapped in fear about. And this predicament that she got herself, she maybe got an idea. This mature woman had gotten an idea about a gift that's now got her trapped in fear. Whomever this mature woman is coming out as in this first row, she's now trapped in fear about this gift and some kind of idea that she received, that she did birth. She birthed an idea about this gift. Because next we get the letter card in the reverse. And we also get the intuition card. Along with the Ace of Wands, which is the roots of fire, showing up in that deck, that new deck that I've been using. And we also have a privileged lady coming out in the very second row. And so it looks like this mature woman may have gotten the idea regarding a gift. She concocted, because this is the home, she actually created an idea about this gift. And also this letter, it could be representing a message, or an actual letter that was prevented from arriving. And maybe this letter was prevented from arriving to this privileged lady. Or maybe this is the second character that did prevent this letter from arriving. And maybe she worked with this mature woman um, to stop a message or to stop an actual letter from arriving. And then with this Ace of Wands coming out, representing a brand new passionate beginning. And this also represents, creativity. Someone created something. And I don't know if it's this privileged lady that did create something. And it's regarding someone's intuition. Maybe this privileged lady had to actually use her intuition for a brand new passionate beginning because of something that wasn't received, a message or a letter that was not received. And then moving on, we do get the thoughts card coming out in that third row. Whatever message that was prevented from being given to someone, it's got someone in their thoughts. And someone also is suffering in silence coming out in the reverse. So maybe they see that someone is publicly humiliated. Maybe someone feels publicly humiliated about this letter that wasn't received. And also publicly humiliated about this gift that someone did get the idea to intercept a message about a gift. And it's gotten them in fear, trapped in fear. And it's a public, suffering, This card speaks of suffering in silence when it's in the actual upright. But whenever you see it come out in the reverse, that means this is publicized. This is something that can be seen. And whatever can be seen has gotten her all in her thoughts, this mature woman. And I'm not sure if she worked with this privileged lady or if she actually prevented a privileged lady from receiving an actual letter about a gift. And maybe she's in fear, she's trapped in fear because someone had to actually use their intuition about this situation. And then next we get the Wheel of Fortune coming out in the reverse. And whenever you see the Wheel of Fortune coming out, it does speak of what goes around comes around. This speaks of karma. And this also speaks of, it's very, very much explaining that, something's come full circle on someone. Whenever you see that Wheel of Fortune, but it did come out in the reverse. So maybe they didn't get the return that they were expecting because, that circle does a full spin, which comes back around. And maybe something that did not come back around has someone actually, maybe it's because someone is not suffering in silence. They're suffering publicly. This can be seen by all. Something that has come back around or that has not come back around. And I'm assuming that goes both ways just because the energy is on the deck. And then we get this Journey card coming out in that third row, which does speak of, course of action that someone did take. They had to, it's probably, whatever message that they prevented, And maybe they stopped this message from coming to someone's intuition. They tried to block someone's intuition, and they even tried to block someone's passionate, a brand new beginning and opportunities, their work. They tried to prevent that, and they really tried to prevent someone from getting a gift. And so that the stuff that they did work upon, or that they did, participate in, is public. Something did not come back around. And it has left someone in their thoughts about this journey that they did decide to take and partake in. Some type of travel involved, whenever we're talking about these thoughts. Maybe someone's in their thoughts about, something not coming back around, and some type of travel. Because then we also get this clergyman card coming out, or no, this ecclesiastics card, which is a clergyman. And you can see that he can be a priest, a preacher, a cult leader, or he can represent a spiritual individual, someone that shows up as spiritual. And then we get the throat chakra card coming out in the upright. So someone is in their thoughts about, and I'm assuming it's this mature woman that came out in this very first row. She's in her thoughts about a gift and about a message that wasn't received. And also she's in her thoughts about trying to block someone's intuition, and also trying to block someone from saying something as well. And whomever she may be trying to block, it's going to be seen. It's going to be publicized. This journey that was taken, and this path and this course of actions that were taken in this particular read, it's going to be seen by all. And then we get the suspension card coming out in that fourth row. And it may be something that she tried to prevent someone from saying. And she tried to prevent someone's intuition. And she tried to prevent someone's creativity. And probably also she tried to block someone's connection with the divine. Or maybe she worked with a clergyman or a spiritual leader or an occult leader that she might have worked with to block someone's speech, and creativity. And this, suspension, it is in the reverse. And it usually, to me, represents like the hanged man. Coming out in the reverse, something has been free. Someone has been free. Because the opposite of suspension is free, Someone is free to speak, is what this is telling me. The freedom has come upon their speech. Their throat chakra is what has been freed. And also at one time suspended even. Someone had someone's throat chakra suspended. And also they had their intuition, and because they were trying to prevent this information or this letter from coming to someone. They wanted to prevent that gift also. And then we get the community card coming out in the reverse. And either this person worked alone, or either she had no, type of support. She now has no support. Whomever these individuals are, because we do get a privileged lady also in this row. This privileged lady, has been free to speak. and also to consult with her intuition and her higher power, which is the creator. And also, this privileged lady has been free to, in this community in the reverse. I'm assuming that, this must mean that maybe the community is angry. There's no support anymore in this matter that she maybe once had, to actually block someone's intuition and block someone from receiving a gift. She wanted to prevent. She got this idea to do that. It was a creative idea that she got, and it now has her trapped in fear. Whatever she worked upon, and that she doesn't now have any assistance with, from her community. She's, the community has even been freed from whatever suspension that she had them in, maybe using like black magic and things to prevent the community from speaking, or to prevent anyone from speaking about this gift and this actual letter. Because then we get the sadness card in the reverse. Is that sadness? It comes out in the reverse. So that usually tells me that somebody was happy when they were doing this, restricting people from talking. And then we also get the authority card coming out in that fifth row, right along with the happiness card. And then we get the judgment card in the reverse coming out also. And whenever I see the judgment card, that speaks for itself pretty much, because whatever was being suspended, or held back, trying to prevent someone from speaking to the creator, and also trying to prevent someone from speaking to the community, it made this person happy. And they were also in hopes of a great fortune. All this was about a great fortune. And this gift is what this great fortune was speaking of. This gift. Judgment. Because there has the reason that this judgment came upon this great fortune. And there's also been some authority brought into this tarot read, an authority figure or an authority, some kind of authority has came onto this, bringing in judgment. Or maybe the authority figure didn't bring in any judgment, because this judgment is in the reverse. And it usually speaks of forgiveness, It has that meaning whenever you see it in the traditional tarot read. And there will be no forgiveness, because judgment has came by way of this authority. Whatever this authority represents, it could be an officer, it could be a judge, it could be anyone that is in a position of authority. She was expecting this authority person to bring, her great fortune. And she was expecting this authority figure to also make her happy. This great fortune would have made her happy, She was expecting this great fortune to make her happy, but instead, the authority figure has brought in judgment and no forgiveness. When we are dealing with this great fortune that she kept suspended from someone, it's actually been released. This great fortune has been released and freed. Whatever great fortune that we are discussing coming out by way of a gift, a gift and great fortune. Someone's throat chakra has been freed also from being suspended, you know, and also this community has been freed from, they're able to speak now. Someone's throat chakra has been freed, and I'm assuming it's this community that came out in that fourth row. Because next we do get the judge showing up in the reverse in that very last row, along with the victory and success coming out in that last row. This judge is the authority upon this situation. And we also get the Eight of Cups card. Which, that Eight of Cups speaks of someone leaving an emotional situation, coming out of an emotional situation, because they've been set free from that suspension. And they've been set free from, the bondage and the spell work that was being done upon the speech, the freedom of speech upon this community. This community, was free to talk. And we get the World card again, showing up in that very last row. Because I know we got the World also, I thought. No, we got the Wheel of Fortune. So this World also speaks of something coming full circle. Upon this individual. Cycles have been complete whenever you also see this World card. And it's also created someone the ability to escape or abandon, is what the card has the meaning of on the bottom. Saturn and Pisces, abandon. And I've been seeing a lot of Pisces coming out. A lot of Pisces cards, because we got two of them here. Capricorn and Saturn. And I am assuming that someone did receive a victory. Someone will be receiving a victory, if not already, because they did get this judge coming out in the reverse, which tells me this judge wasn't happy, or either this judge, he's going to be directly responsible for bringing some cycle to an end. This judge is, because he's not happy that something was abandoned, and he's going to be bringing in victory and success, along with happiness and great fortune and no forgiveness. And I'm assuming, this no forgiveness can be coming out on this judge, but, because he's coming out in the reverse. But it looks like his reason for being reversed is because he's angry. He's angry about something. And I'm assuming this judge may have received a message of concern. And the message of concern is that someone's going to be happy. Someone's going to be receiving a victory. Because something's come to a full completion whenever you see this World card coming out. Capricorn and Saturn. Someone's going to be receiving a message of concern about someone's victory. and about this cycle being complete. And they're going to have to be forced to abandon this situation that we are discussing about this gift and this letter that was intercepted, this message being blocked and trying to even block someone's intuition. Someone's going to be receiving, and I'm assuming it's this privileged lady that may be receiving this message of victory and success. And also there's a privileged lady that's going to be receiving a message of concern about things coming full circle on this cycle here that's been going on for quite some time. And it kept someone happy, you know? Someone was happy about this great fortune. And the person that's coming up as being happy is this actual authority figure, you know, showing up in this fourth row here, or this fifth row. This authority figure is going to make someone happy. Because you see, we get this sadness card coming out in the reverse, which does speak of happy. This authority is going to make someone happy about this great fortune. And about there being no forgiveness in this matter when we're dealing with these blocked messages and, you know, these gifts and this great fortune.